Us now is Dr. Amish Adolges, Senior Scholar at Johns Hopkins University Center for Health Security. Good morning. Thanks for being here, Doctor.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
The fact that you have the biggest names in pharmaceuticals, right? Merck, Pfizer, GlaxoSmithKline, Johnson & Johnson, AstraZeneca, Novavax, Moderna, BioNTech in Germany, all signing this pledge saying that they will uphold the highest ethical standards, that they will not seek FDA approval until they're really through phase 3. How remarkable is it that they feel like they have to do that for the public?
I think it's a sign of the time that we've had this kind of degeneration in pandemic response from the very beginning, and that companies have to really be very mindful about getting sucked into the politics of this and not being used as some sort of tool to increase confidence when there isn't a reason to have an increase in confidence. So this is something that I think is really important, and I do think these companies have made us vaccines for decades and decades, and I think we can trust them to do the right thing, despite the pressure that they may be getting from politicians to speed things along or to go along with ideas that are not necessarily scientifically based.
Doctor, how will we know, though, right? I mean, will the data be published in such a way that the doctors like yourself, who are looking at the science, not the politics, can be confident that that's what's driven the decision? When I spoke to Dr. Fauci last week, he made that point. He said, you know, we'll need to see that data. I assume we will see that data with confidence. I mean, is there going to be, you know, an ability for a public appraisal of these decisions?
I think it's going to have to be that way, and we're going to get our medical journals publishing these articles. We're going to see other regulatory agencies in the EU and the UK, for example, as well as professional societies like the Infectious Disease Society of America, the American Academy of Pediatrics, all weighing in on this evidence. So it will help the general public have more confidence, and it won't just be something like we saw with hydroxychloroquine or convalescent plasma, where there's this question that looms over the whole decision-making process. But it is going to be essential that we're as transparent as possible. We want a vaccine that people are willing to take, and we want to have the data to support that decision so that people know the risks and benefits. And we don't want a vaccine that doesn't get into people's arms is going to be worthless. So we need to make sure that we do this correctly.
Yeah. You're so right. I mean, that is the key difference between a vaccine and vaccination. And for it to be effective, you need a broad swath of the population to be vaccinated. How do you do that when that CBS News poll just a few weeks ago showed only 21% of Americans polled said they'd actually get this vaccine right away? I mean, is it too late to turn the tide on that and to really boost confidence?
I already think there's been a lot of damage that's been done to the whole vaccination effort by the politics being injected into it. We also have a vaccine hesitancy and an anti-vaccine movement that are going to capitalize on any kind of false step that gets taken. So there are going to be people already undermining the uptake of this vaccine. And we know from H1N1 in 2009, only 23% of people got that vaccine. So this is going to be very challenging, and we're going to have to be able to speak very frankly and honestly to the American people about what the risks are, what the benefits are, and what those risks and benefits, where they lie inside different risk groups. If you're older, if you're pregnant, all of that has to be very transparent. It's going to be a very daunting challenge, something like we've never done before.
Okay, let's talk about the good news here, because there is good news. The progress on this has been remarkable, right? And the data does seem to be really good for many, if not all, of these mainline vaccines here. Given that, what is the likely timeline that the three of us, our children, we're not well, you may qualify as a frontline worker, we do not in terms of healthcare worker, but that this vaccine will be widely available to the American public?
For wide availability, I would say we're going to be well into 2021 when that happens, if everything goes perfect in phase 3 clinical trials. I think I might be able to get a vaccine maybe by the end of the year if everything went well and we had an emergency use authorization for healthcare workers. But this is something that we're going to have to take some time to get into the arms of Americans, and we're going to be fighting this virus without a vaccine for several months at a minimum. So we still need to continue to work on testing, tracing, and isolating, because the vaccine isn't going to be some kind of magic bullet that we have all of a sudden and everything just disappears. It's going to take some time.
Do you believe, doctor, that when there is a vaccine that is effective and approved by the FDA, schools and universities should mandate that every child and every college student get the vaccine, because that's a whole nother level of, of debate?
I do think that this is going to be something that becomes a routine vaccination. And we know that schools mandate the measles vaccine, for example, as part of entry. We know that colleges mandate, for example, the meningitis vaccine as a condition of entry. So I do think if we have the data to support this vaccine being safe and effective and being able to blunt the damage that this virus can cause, I do think it's something that schools and universities should think about mandating, and I would probably be supportive of it if the data supported it.
Well, listen, this country had difficulty mandating masks, right? A very simple step. So the question is, even if there is a push, would it happen practically? Dr. Adalja, great to have you on. We appreciate your help on all these questions.
Thank you.